What's good, YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing y'all how you can make some sampled R&B type of beats for Future. And the inspiration for this beat are songs like My Collection and Wait For You. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an R&B sample and then just flip it into a beat that is a little bit more trap sounding, but still kind of has that R&B bounce to it. So that being said, let's just jump right into it. We got the FL Studio session open here, and the sample that I'm using is the song Unthinkable by Alicia Keys. I'm just gonna start by getting the first kick. I think this is just kind of like background noise from the music video. I'm just gonna go here, trim it, and just start with this first kick. So the first thing in flipping this sample is I want to figure out what the tempo is, because that's going to be important to the chopping and all that. So I'm just going to go up to the tempo and right click on it and hit tap. And I'm just going to use one of the keys on my keyboard to just tap the tempo. So I'm getting a tempo of 86. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that that's correct. So this means that the snare should be hitting on the second and fourth beat, which it looks like it is for the most part, and it lines up because on the 9th measure is when the next big transient is. All right, so that works pretty well. So I'm gonna double click on this and change the mode from resample to stretch. And so now no matter what tempo we change it to, if I go out here, if I move it up and down, it's not going to change the length of the audio clip. Now I want to start doing my chops and just figuring out which parts of the song I want to sample. I don't think I'm going to use the beginning part. When I was listening to it, it was kind of like the chorus section that I really wanted to sample. So I'm just going to go to that real quick.
It's becoming something that's impossible to ignore, and I can't take it. I was wondering, maybe could I make you my baby? If we do the unthinkable, would it make us look crazy? If you ask me, I'm ready. If you ask me, I'm ready.
All right, so this whole section right here is, I think, what I want to sample. I'm going to start here with the 21st measure.
It's becoming something.
So this kind of pre-chorus section, and then this one chorus right here, the I'm ready part. And I'm just gonna cut it off before she goes back into the verse here. I think for the most part, this is the vibe that I want, because I don't want to do too much with the vocals to the point where there's no room left for someone to rap on the beat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mute the rest of these up here. And the next thing I want to do is extract the stems from this, just so we can isolate the instrumentals, vocals, bass, and all that. I'm gonna go ahead, click on the top left here, and go where it says extract stems from sample. And I'm going to extract everything, the drums, instrument, bass, and vocals. Hit extract. And so now we have everything isolated. So the drums by itself and the bass. So we've got all this set up. The next thing I want to do is figure out what the tempo of my beat's going to be. And so My Collection and Wait For You are both kind of in that 160 beats per minute, or I guess in this context, 80 beats per minute range. So we're already kind of in the ballpark, but I definitely want to make this a little bit slower just for the sake of the drums. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn the metronome on and just kind of play with the tempo a little bit. I think I'm going to put this around 80 beats per minute.
It's becoming something that's impossible to ignore.
All right, so just a tad slower. Like I said, I just moved it down to 80. And now I'm going to mute the drums just so we can figure out what pitch I want this to be in. I don't want it to be the original pitch of the song, so I'm gonna go to my master track and open up a sound shifter and just play around with the semitones here and figure out how much I wanna move the sample up or down.
It's becoming something that's impossible to ignore, and I can't take it. I was wondering, maybe could I make you my baby?
All right, I think this is the pitch that I wanted, so I'm gonna move it down by one semitone, or half step, means the same thing. So now I'm gonna go to each of these, double click on them, and move the pitch to minus 100 cents, and then copy it, go to this one, paste, this one, paste. So now they should all be at one half step below what they originally were.
I was wondering, maybe could I make you my baby? If we do the unthinkable, would it make us look crazy? If you ask me, I'm ready.
All right, so now the last thing I want to do before I start adding any drums to this is go to the channel rack here and select all of these and route these all to a mixer track. And I want to throw on an EQ just so we can kind of get that like filtered R&B type of sample sound, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go to the EQ here and I'm just going to start by rolling off the lows.
It's becoming something that's impossible.
And then the next thing I'm going to add is a love filter. And with this, I'm going to go to the low pass 2 preset and just play around with this parameter here until I get something that I like.
It's becoming something that's impossible to ignore. And I can't take it. I was wondering, baby.
So about right here. And so now I think we can go ahead and start adding our drums in. So for my drum sounds, I'm going to start by grabbing some from my Ignite multi-kit. Going to get the snare right here. Maybe get a snap. We'll play around with the two. Get a shaker. Get this kick right here. Hi-hat. And we'll just grab a little basic 808. And let's just go ahead and start adding some drums. Since we are in normal time and not double time, like in the 100s range, the snares are going to sit on the 2nd and 4th beat of every measure. That'll look like this.
Becoming something that's impossible to ignore.
So I'm going to go ahead and get a different snare sound, but I think for the rest of them, we'll just keep them as is. And so I'm grabbing this snare right here. Next, we'll go ahead and put down the hi-hat. And with this, I want to keep a bunch of space, at least just for the first pattern, and then maybe we'll go ahead and put in a 2-step later.
Becoming something that's becoming something that's impossible to ignore. And I can't take it. I was wondering, baby.
I think I'm going to go ahead and throw down some rolls using the 1/2 step snapping and get that paintbrush tool here. Actually, I'm going to go with the 1/4 step instead. Just leave that one for now. Just for a quick like a reference and arrangement, I think these first two here are going to be like the lead in with the pre-chorus and all that. And then the I'm ready is when the drums are going to come in. So just going to go ahead and switch to this right here. And this last part, this little vocal here, I might just trim that out. Yeah, so that doesn't loop really well. I'm going to go ahead and delete that and fade this in. So far, our hook is sounding like this. So now I'm going to go ahead and put down the kick. And so now we'll put down our shaker. And then we'll go ahead and throw down our 808 here. right, so we got pretty much all the drums done. I do want to add one last thing. I guess two more things here. One being a sub bass and one being a bass guitar for the verses. So the sub bass would be for the intro. So I'm gonna go back to the Ignite kit and go to the one shots and grab my bass guitar preset here. I'll pretty much just have the same notes as the 808. A sharp, C sharp, F sharp, and then we'll drop it an octave. Kind of something that's a little different and a little easier on the ears than the 808. And then the last thing is add a sub bass. I'm gonna grab this Reese's Cup bass from the Ignite kit, and same thing, I'm literally just gonna copy and paste the MIDI into here and pitch it accordingly. One last thing for the drums, I'm gonna clone the hi-hats and make that little two-step pattern just so we can have it switch it up. So I'm gonna right click on it and go fill each two steps, and that'll give us this type of sound. And then so I'm gonna hit Control C, Control V to fill in these notes here. And then I'm gonna hold Alt on the keyboard and scroll down to move these velocities down. And to add a little more bounce to these, what I'm gonna do is just go and manually adjust some of these just so that they're slightly different. Like this, and then once I have like this little 2-measure bit where it's modified, I'm just gonna copy it for the rest. It's subtle, but it has a little different bounce than just the regular 2-step. So now that we got all of our different drum patterns done, I'm gonna go to the pattern here, right click on it, hit split by channel, go ahead, delete this, and click on the top, hold shift, click on the bottom, you just drag them right in here. And now we got all of our drum sounds, we got our melodies, the samples chopped and all that. We can go ahead and start arranging this. So the first thing, I'm gonna keep these first couple sections here without any drums, and I'm just gonna have the sub bass. And you know what? I probably wanna automate this love filter in. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the mixer track here, make sure that only 4 measures are selected here, right click, create automation clip, and I'm gonna copy this over, click this and go make unique. And I'm going to just roll in the love filter so that it starts where it's like no EQ, and then the filter slowly comes on.
It's becoming so, and I can't take it. I was wondering, baby.
And if you want to adjust how fast it comes in, you just click and drag this middle part right here.
I was wondering, baby.
And then I think I'll leave this off for now, and we'll have the sub bass come in on the 5th measure. And you know what I'm actually gonna do is also automate the EQ just so we can hear the bass guitar, at least for that first part, and go click make unique and just kind of copy the same thing going on here. And this will just be for the intro, so we'll just keep these automation clips kind of out of the way. What I want to do also is keep the instrumentals from the first part and just loop those over and over again. And then the bass guitar doesn't really matter as much, but I'll just keep it for the sake of being consistent. It's not really going to be heard in the final mix. I'm going to chop it right where she says, "I'm ready." So I think I'm going to start with the bass guitar and the slower hi-hat pattern right here. And then switch to the 808. The 2-step pattern, kind of let the verse rock, and we'll probably just bring back the same kind of pattern here. Switch back into bass guitar. kind of that space to run. We'll basically just repeat this right here. And then have the verse come back in, and it's kind of just going to be a rinse and repeat of this whole entire thing. But that's pretty much the whole arrangement. I think the last couple things I want to do is maybe just add a little crash transition. So I'm gonna go to my resonance kit, to the drums, and grab this little riser crash. And hold on, I gotta time stretch this so it's correct. So we'll take this 2 measures here and stretch it down to half the length, just so it works for the lower tempos. So I think that's pretty much the whole beat. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my tag on it. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Hope y'all found this pretty helpful. It's a little different from like my normal trap style of beats. So hopefully it's a little refreshing too for y'all. That's all I really got for this one, and I'll see y'all in the next video.